What's up, losers? Today I'm back with some more r/fatlogic tomfoolery. Checking out a couple of attention-grabbing fat acceptance posts, sharing my responses to them, and having a jolly old time doing it. This is episode 118 in the fatlogic series. And I'm ready for my descent into some classic fat acceptance wackiness. So without further ado, let's get into it.
With the recent discussions on friends and fat phobia/weight loss surgery, I thought I'd say that I won't be friends with fatphobes. I've ended a friendship over a weight loss surgery decision. I've refused second dates because they were steeped in diet culture. I do not, and cannot, have chosen relationships with fatphobic people. Yes, maybe they'll learn and change, but I'm not obligated to be there for that. Just thought y'all should know that this is a valid choice.
The criteria to be my friend has shot up over the last couple of years, and my number of friends has dwindled for it. But they're the best friends I ever had.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If the only, quote-unquote friends, that you'll allow room for in your orbit, are those who never challenge you on your beliefs, enable your self-destructive habits, and encourage you to further insulate yourself from the outside world, then those are not good friends. In fact, they're not friends at all. They're either toxic enablers, who themselves know better, but don't respect you enough to tell you what they really think. Or they're borderline cultists like you are, who would turn on you in a heartbeat, if you so much as took a step outside of the rigid fat acceptance orthodoxy. Just like the original poster did to their former so-called friends, when they decided to get weight loss surgery. In either case, these people are not looking out for your best interest, as I would expect any friend worth their salt to do. They are prioritizing their own feelings, or conflict avoidance, over your long-term health. And if you continue to listen to them, it's going to come back around and bite you in the ass hard. Being completely honest though, I'm going to have a hard time mustering up much sympathy when that day comes. Because as far as I'm concerned, anyone who would abandon their friends over them simply making a positive lifestyle change, like getting weight loss surgery, is almost unspeakably petty and selfish. And not someone that I would want in the same postcode as me, let alone as a friend. So as mean as this might sound on my part, I'm almost tempted to just say frick it. They've made the bed, and now they can lie in it. Because I'm sure there are plenty of people out there, fat or otherwise, who are much more deserving of my concern than these clowns. As a final note, when the poster says that they refused a second date because the person they went out with was steeped in diet culture, what exactly does that mean? Did they show up like taking swigs from a hip flask of laxative tea? Did they start doing calisthenics on the table? Did they order a salad with no dressing? There are so many possibilities. Based on the post, I'm guessing that they just showed a normal level of interest in health or fitness, and that the poster freaked out because they're a crazy person. But even still, it's funny to imagine exactly how it all went down. Haha. Moving on.
So, to make a long story short, I've recently gained 50 pounds because of trying several different psych meds. I am bipolar type 1. While we seem to have found a combination that works for me, I'm terribly unhappy about my weight gain. I'm afraid to go to the gym in the pandemic. What's worked for you, lovelies? I'm struggling to the point of being thrown back into a depression cycle. And my significant other has noticed the weight and made his unhappiness known as well. I switched from diet soda to water and have started walking in my lunch break with a coworker. I'm afraid the walking won't last long because of the weather. I feel like I'm in a bad spot, and if I don't start seeing some motivating results soon, I'll be on another psych med with the same devastating effects.
I'd encourage you to get away from weight loss as being an end goal. Not only is your fear of fatness and your fear of having to be on meds to deal with it extremely fatphobic, it's not actually mentally healthy either. If you want to have sustainable habits that will help you feel good in your body, simply chasing weight loss, ain't it? Because your body will inevitably be battling this for as long as you're alive. Not to mention, it's just a band-aid over the gushing wound that is your fat phobia and fear of a body that you actually don't have control over. Dealing with your fat phobia is actually going to be better for your mental health in the long run, and better for all the fat people you come in contact with. I suggest looking into intuitive eating practices, so you can fuel your body with the things it needs, and try focusing on joyful movement, so that you can get your body moving in ways you enjoy. It'll get your endorphins flowing, and you'll be more likely to make it a part of your regular routine, because you actually enjoy it. I'd also suggest finding a way to accept your body as it is today. Your 50-pound weight gain may feel foreign to you, but it isn't inherently bad, and it isn't something you need to put yourself into a mental tailspin over. There are lots of people fatter than you living amazingly fulfilling lives with partners who love and respect them and their bodies. Start exposing yourself to more fat-positive people, so you aren't this afraid of weight gain. Because if you're willing to say it here, you're willing to say it around the fat people in your life. And what you said here is a fatphobic microaggression. So imagine how that lands for fat people you actually care about. I'd also like to point out, to the mods and admins, how blatantly fatphobic language is being allowed in posts like this. I appreciate the content warning, but perhaps we should look at banning all fatphobic language in posts. I don't think a content warning for homophobic or racist language by the OP would be enough. So why is it for fatphobic language?
Jesus Christ, could this person be any more insufferable? Like seriously, my blood is just boiling right now. Not only do they spew the same rubbish advice about intuitive eating and joyful movement, when the original poster clearly expressed that they were unhappy with their weight gain and wanted to reverse it, but they also had the sheer audacity to complain and moralize about their apparent fatphobia, and how it affects them, even going so far as to try to get such posts banned. Unfreaking believable. You'd think that having someone describe their precarious psychological state, and the mental toll that weight gain was exerting on them, would force the fat activists to keep their pie holes shut. But no, anytime anyone loses weight, for any reason, they just have to come out of the rafters screeching about fatphobia. Never mind the fact that it's none of their business. Never mind that no one asked for the dumb-ass opinion. Never mind that they're just causing more stress for someone who's going through enough already. They have an axe to grind. And come hell or high water, they're going to grind it. The craziest part is that if you go back to the original post, and look for the quote, blatant fatphobic language that it apparently contains, all you're going to find is the poster saying that they are terribly unhappy about their weight gain. That's it. They don't say anything about fat people. They don't say that being fat makes one ugly, or undesirable, or even unhealthy. They just say that they are unhappy about their weight gain, and that's enough for these fat activist babies to cry fatphobia. Because when you're this much of a narcissist, other people's right to make choices about their own lives is not nearly so important as your right to have your feelings protected at all costs, and to never be exposed to anything that even remotely threatens the comfy little bubble that is your world. Size. Selfish doesn't even do it justice. I also find it extremely aggravating how the poster tries to act like they're taking a stand on behalf of all fat people, in throwing a tantrum over the post. Because let's be real, the vast majority of fat people would have absolutely no problem with someone seeking weight loss advice. They themselves would ideally like to lose weight, and they would regard this manner of fat activism as the absolute baloney that it so clearly is. None of these fat people deserve to have their reputation tarnished through association with this clownery. And you are in no position to speak for them. So in future, I would advise you to frame your jealous whining as what it really is. One sad individual's pathetic insecurity. boiling to the surface, rather than as some grand proclamation on behalf of fat people, because the sane fat people of the world aren't having it. And this sure as shit isn't their embarrassment to bear.
I really doubt you lay on your deathbed at the end of your life and think, wow, I am so glad that I avoided refined carbohydrates so I could stay slim. If it's not gonna matter at the end of life, then why do we allow it to take up so much mental space now? If you're still struggling to quit dieting, make sure to grab your free copy of my ebook, where I share my 5 steps to end dieting for good. Link in bio.
Man, the logic on this one really doesn't check out. Like, what is it even suggesting? That anything that you won't be thinking about on your deathbed mustn't be important at all. Well, okay then, let's try a few other examples and see where this thinking leads us. I doubt that I'm going to be thinking about brushing my teeth on my deathbed. So I guess I might as well throw away my toothbrush. I probably won't be remembering all the glasses of water I had either. So I guess water can be dispensed with too. And I don't think I'll be fondly reminiscing on the taxes I paid as I lie dying. So screw it, I guess I'll just stop doing that too. Obviously this standard doesn't lead anywhere good. And it's not hard to see why. Living a healthy, stable, and ideally long life is not all about flashy memorable moments. It is about maintaining healthy and positive habits. Doing what you have to, not just what you want to. And making sure to enjoy things like food in moderation, rather than in excess. If you do all of these things, then with a little luck, you will be able to have a great many exciting, powerful moments to reflect on from your deathbed, and you will be able to die with the satisfaction that you lived a full life. If you give up on health altogether, however, you will be much more likely to die ahead of your time, in considerable discomfort, and looking back with regret on all of the things that your condition left you unable to do. Not to mention the later years that might have been. Because in the grand scheme of things, is a quadruple cheeseburger and a jumbo Coke really that much of a deathbed memory? Everyone has to make such judgments for themselves, I suppose, but once the moment has passed, and the taste of that greasy burger is no longer upon your lips, I know I would be left with nothing more than a hollow feeling inside, and a desire to turn back the clock. But who knows, maybe that's just me. As a final note, does anyone else find the whole concept of a guide to quitting dieting totally bizarre? Like, it's really not that hard to not diet. You just eat what you want, right? And considering that most people who would be interested in a book with this post-sales pitch are already fat, it seems like they would be the experts in not dieting. So I really don't see what they need help with. It's almost like the book's real purpose isn't actually to instruct at all, but to make fat people feel better about their existing unhealthy life choices. Just something to consider. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the posts and my commentary. What do you think? Would you end a friendship over weight loss surgery? Is saying that you are unhappy to have put weight on fatphobic? What will you look back on from your deathbed? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll magically turn all of your friends into raging fat activists, and they'll cut you off, one by one, until you are left all alone in the world. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.